Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hagrid stream.
Favorite Hagrid moments. The true hero of Harry Potter.
The true hero of Harry Potter?
The true hero.
I would argue that that's Snape, but okay.
No, definitely Hagrid.
The man has
Who
made...
else is so devoted to Dumbledore? Would do anything for him. Cared about Harry as much as he did. All after he was expelled from the school, had every reason to hate everyone at that school for his false conviction, but he stayed and was always in a good mood.
Well, he was not always in a good mood, and he did make some very questionable decisions and put Harry in some very questionable places.
He did, but it was for the greater good.
I mean, Aragog almost ate Harry.
Shouldn't say you that.
Lots of drinking.
Lots of drinking,
Lots
too.
of drinking.
And hey, the man knew how to party. He did all this while knowing how to have a good time. Hey, Anna.
And bad food. Yes, and bad food. Hi, Katie. Hi, Kayla. Hi, Dan. Hi, Anna. Hello, Ilya.
So, bad food. It could have still tasted good.
Rock cakes.
Look, so you get a cracked tooth. That's...
Wasn't there one time he cooked something that had ferret in it?
I don't know. Maybe.
Pretty sure there were some questionable ingredients in his food.
Oh, I'm sure.
On occasion. Ferret sandwiches.
Okay, there we go. Malfoy sandwiches.
Who wants to eat that?
Might taste good. Who knows?
Who wants to be eating Malfoy sandwiches?
I mean, from the fan club that he has, a lot of people.
Stoat sandwiches. Either way, same neighborhood. Stoats, ferrets,
Weasels.
mustelid sandwiches.
Weasels.
Yes. He tried his best.
That's true. No one taught him how to cook. If only Mrs. Weasley could have given him a couple of those spells.
He's not supposed to do magic. Strictly speaking, he's not allowed to do magic, so he'd appreciate it if no one told him.
No.
Well, I mean, he does grow those pumpkins.
Yeah.
And the whole blast-ended scroot thing. I don't know if there was magic implicitly involved in breeding those scroots, but I have my suspicions that there was some.
And don't forget the Dudley tale.
Yep, that's why he says, strictly speaking, I'm not allowed to do magic. Appreciate it if you wouldn't tell anyone about this, Harry.
And also, most wizards need a wand to do magic. The man's like the Penguin, just whips out an umbrella. This'll work.
Well, we know his wand is in the umbrella.
That's true.
It's in there. It's in pieces, but it's in there.
I was gonna say, but yeah, I thought they broke it.
They did.
So, yeah.
But it's in that umbrella. You know it. He points the umbrella at Dudley. His wand's in there.
Either way, we've seen how badly a broken wand can backfire. Courtesy of Ron.
Well, I think Dumbledore may have had a thing or two to do with some of that. I think Dumbledore may have helped him out a little bit.
Maybe. Hey, Tom. Oh, Bailey's barking to come in. Be right back.
No, he's not allowed to do magic. It's established in book 1 that he is, Dumbledore repaired Hagrid's wand with the... Katie says she has a theory that Dumbledore fixed Hagrid's wand with the Elder Wand. That's kind of what I've always thought, too, is that Dumbledore kind of repaired his wand after everything goes down. I always thought that Dumbledore low-key like fixed it and then hid it in the umbrella, and then he and Dumbledore just kind of have like an understanding, like, listen, don't be gratuitous with your magic use, and it'll just be our little secret.
Only use it to give small children pigtails when they deserve it.
That's right. Dudley totally did deserve it.
And, maybe grow some vegetables for the kitchens.
Melanie, you did not miss much.
Just been talking about what an amazing person Hagrid is.
Yes, rest in peace, Robbie Coltrane.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason why we decided to do this today was to just celebrate all things Hagrid.
Hermione once found a claw in Hagrid's steak or something. Yeah, I remember she found, I thought it was like a stew. But there was like a claw in there.
Yeah, it was something where...
Or a talon.
Yeah, a talon or a claw or something. No, an 11-year-old is not a small child. That is true.
Well, Dudley wasn't small, but still.
He was also 11. He's old enough to know better. Tom is bringing Canadian politics into our conversation. He said, this is the worst time to stream if you're Canadian because the Emergency Act inquiry is going on right now. Tamara Lich is testifying. It's the equivalent of Marjorie Taylor Greene testifying for the January 6th committee.
Oh.
Well, that's crazy.
I know nothing about Canadian politics.
But really don't either. As an American, I can say that I will be out voting when it is time to vote. But other than that, Hagrid could have used a Thestral to get to the hut on the rock. That's true. He just shows up.
Yeah.
And we know for a fact that Dumbledore uses Thestrals when he doesn't want to apparate or can't apparate or whatever else. And Hagrid just like shows up. Then they take the boat back.
Yeah, probably used the Thestral.
Probably flew on a Thestral.
That poor Thestral. It would have been like watching those like grown adults riding a pony. Ever see those videos? Jackson's ugh.
Jackson just wants to be up close and in front of everyone today.
Well, he hasn't been here the past few streams.
I know.
He's just going over there to lay down on my shirt. There, that Thestrals as well as brooms can't hold him. Oh, did he? Does he say that? I wouldn't be surprised. That seems accurate.
We can check that out when we go to our Hagrid's Greatest Hits list.
That's true.
Or rather, the one that I kind of...
Do we want to go through that? Maybe throw it out there. What is your guys' favorite Hagrid moment?
So yeah, I kind of went through and thought about the 7 books all together. And kind of picked out Hagrid's greatest moments throughout the series. I kind of picked one moment from each of the books that I personally really liked. And thought were some of Hagrid's greatest moments. But by all means, everyone jump in and tell us, what's your favorite Hagrid moment? And yes, Hagrid did feed ferrets to Buckbeak. Hello, Lola. I see you down there.
I feel like... I really don't know which is my favorite. I want to say when him and Slughorn are drunk when Harry's under the Felix Felicis, but I don't know if I call that more of a Hagrid moment or if Hagrid was just there for a Slughorn moment, you know?
I think that is just one of the greatest moments in the series, period.
Yeah.
But that chapter is one of the moments I picked.
I mean, it was
where
fantastic. It was great.
Yeah, Katie, yep, that was my pick, was chapter 22. Chapter 22, After the Burial. Because it's just such a great moment overall, not just with Hagrid, but it's a great moment with Slughorn. Harry is really funny. Like, all of it is just so good.
Yeah.
Like, the entire thing is great.
I agree with Dan, though. The Big Bones moment was pretty great. Big Bones. I'll show her big bones.
Right? The drunk scene with Harry, Slughorn, and Harry. When I read it, I said, this had better be in the movie. It was. The burial is good, too. I think this chapter also highlights some of the things about Hagrid's character that could be considered maybe reckless or potentially not having Harry's best interest at heart, because he wants Harry to come down to the burial and he's like, I just can't do it alone, I need you to come. And then Hermione is saying, like, this is really reckless, this is not a good idea, Hagrid wants us to go down there after hours, like, it's not safe, security is heightened, it's a bad idea to do this, and Hagrid is foregoing all safety measures that are put in place. He really isn't considering Harry's safety. He's really just so grief-stricken that he's just like, Harry, please come down here. I know you're not supposed to, and I know it's like after curfew, but could you please do this? And it really isn't considering Harry's safety. It's like Hagrid's recklessness and lack of judgment sometimes.
All the time?
A lot of the time. I think that...
I don't even think it's considered a lack. He just doesn't have any.
In books...
Like, judgment just... That term doesn't exist with Hagrid. He just does. There's no judging.
I would also agree with Mike. That is one of the best moments in 7. So Hagrid doesn't really make much of an appearance in 7. But then you find out that Hagrid got in trouble and had to go into hiding because he had a support Harry Potter party at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Like, not smart. Not a good idea.
But great, all the same.
But still very, like, sweet nonetheless. Like, just very endearing in a way. Hello, Galaxy Studios. When Hagrid counsels Harry and Ron about Hermione when they're on the outs with her. Book 3. That's book 3.
And yet, Hagrid versus Umbridge. Umbridge's oars. That was a great moment.
Yeah.
Especially in the illustrated edition, when we saw that, and the one guy was just getting slapped.
Yeah. Katie says that she loves that moment in book 7. She also loves when Grop throws Hagrid and Fang through a window in the castle during the Battle of Hogwarts. And then Harry is running alongside them.
I forgot all about that.
He just, like, pitches them through the window, and it's just like, boom, there's Hagrid and Fang doing stuff. And then...
I forgot that was even a thing. That was great.
And then I think Hagrid gets, like, overtaken by spiders.
Yeah, I think
like, all the spiders and stuff. Grop. No, I'm not into Grop. I wasn't a big fan of that.
Jordan shows up on the radio and says that Hagrid, along with others, have been having... Oh, you already read that one. I didn't see Mike's comment before.
So this might sound a bit cliche, but... Best Hagrid moment in the first book?
Dudley.
When he shows up and he tells Harry he's a wizard and all of that. Like...
It's one of the most memorable scenes. Even if you're not into Harry Potter, you know, you still know...
You know you're a wizard. It's Harry's first real introduction to the wizarding world. And you've got Hagrid explaining all of it.
Right, and then we learn that, Hagrid explained everything to him after we get to know Hagrid. We realize wasn't the greatest. Yeah, I think another great moment from the first book would be when Hagrid brings Harry on the motorbike.
In the very first chapter.
Yeah,
That's good too.
but I agree. The Dudley scene is so much better. Him and the Dursleys. The interactions, the contrast between him, this clash of worlds.
Yeah, it's full front, full center, just boom. It's so and you get the description of him. His hands like dustbin lids, his boots are the size of baby dolphins. Like, just the descriptions. Katie says she loves in book 1, the very end, where he visits Harry in the hospital and he says, "I'll never drink again," and then gives him the photo album.
Oh, yeah.
I'll never drink again. Yeah, okay, Hagrid.
We read the rest of the book.
Yeah, we know, dude. And he cries so much over being the one that, like, led everybody to the stone and just... Oh, Hagrid. Never has anyone had such good intentions. And messed up.
Him and Trelawney are so much alike in that regard.
I know. Oh, that's right. He says he should be made to live as a muggle for everything he's done. Here, why don't I grab the books? Because while we discuss this, we can read little excerpts if we want to.
Yeah. No, we have not discussed that, Mike. I think we did in a video a long time ago, but...
Discussed what?
How his parents made him. Because his mother was a giant.
Oh, we've talked about that before. I don't think we've ever really...
His father was Tormund. That's how.
You like big women. Oh yeah, that's right. They have cheeseburgers. Him and Hagrid have cheeseburgers.
Has to be an engorgement charm.
There's so many good... I love the description, too, of, in the first book, of Hagrid just being simply too big to be allowed.
Oh, hey, that's awesome. Got the same shirt. Are you a Hufflepuff?
Oh, yeah, he sits on all those chairs at the wedding. But, I mean, Hagrid, like, Keeper of the Keys, Hagrid says... Your great puddin' of a son don't need fattening anymore, Dursley. Don't worry. Like... Hogwarts, for crying out loud. Did you never wonder where your parents learned it all? All what? Asked Harry. All what? Hagrid thundered. Now, wait just 1 second. He leapt to his feet. In his anger, he seemed to fill the whole hut. The Dursleys were cowering against the wall. Do you mean to tell me, he growled at the Dursleys, that this boy knows nothing about... about anything? Harry thought this was going a bit far. He had been to school after all, and his marks weren't bad. I know some things, he said. I can, do maths and stuff. But Hagrid simply waved his wand and said, About our world, I mean. Your world. My world. Your parents' world. What world? Hagrid looked as if he were about to explode. Dursley! He boomed. Uncle Vernon, who'd gone very pale, whispered something that sounded like Mimble-wimble. Hagrid stared wildly at Harry. But you must know about your mum and dad, he said. I mean, they're famous. You're famous. What? My mum and dad weren't famous, were they? You don't know. You don't know. Hagrid ran his fingers through his hair, fixing Harry with a bewildered stare. You don't know what you are, he said finally. Uncle Vernon suddenly found his voice. "Stop!" he commanded. "Stop right there, sir! I forbid you to tell the boy anything!" A braver man than Vernon Dursley would have quailed under the furious look Hagrid now gave him. When Hagrid spoke, his every syllable trembled with rage. "You never told him? Never told him what was in the letter Dumbledore left for him? I was there. I saw Dumbledore leave it, Dursley, and you've kept it from him for all these years." "Kept what from me?" said Harry eagerly. "Stop! I forbid you!" yelled Uncle Vernon in panic. Aunt Petunia gave a gasp of horror. "Oh, go boil your heads, both of you," said Hagrid. "Harry, you're a wizard."
And there it is. The moment he learns.
The moment. Arguably, probably, one of the most iconic moments in Harry Potter?
Absolutely. Did you say wand? Yeah, you did say wand. It was supposed to be hand. Hagrid waved his hand.
Oh. Well, my bad. Jeez.
But,
This is quick reading. This isn't audiobook reading. This is just chit-chatting.
Say what you want about Dursley. The man's got some balls. Here you are with an 8-foot wizard. From his point of view, he's a wizard. We don't know that he can't do magic at this point. But, and he just keeps talking. Hands the size of trash can lids.
Yeah, and Dursley just keeps going. But yeah, it is hand. It's not wand.
Yeah. I had to look over at the book when you said that, because I was like, wait, we just had this conversation.
Yeah, well, it's partly, I haven't read these in a while, and I'm just kind of going with it, so.
Was he homeschooled? Because how do they know basic skills like reading and writing? That, I feel like I've asked that at some point. Is there like a wizarding elementary school?
No.
No? So yeah, are all the wizards just like homeschooled, or how do they learn their basic knowledge? Like reading and writing, math.
I mean, maybe there is Wizard Elementary School. I don't know. We don't ever find out. There could be.
So I was like, well,
Wizard
maybe
pre-K?
they're just like, because they don't get their powers until they're 11, I guess one of the theories could be that they go to Muggle school. But Ron knows nothing about Muggles, so that isn't true.
You can start exhibiting signs of magic as early as, 7, even younger. So, maybe there is. But, I mean, Harry wouldn't see it, so.
No, it's taught them before. Yeah, I guess the best theory right now would probably be that everyone is homeschooled.
Yeah, they could
just
be.
A thing in the wizarding world. You homeschool your child until it's time to go to Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Hogwarts is like a private school, so are there wizarding public schools?
Hogwarts is the best one, so I
Yeah.
think it's safe to assume that there are other ones. Wizards need math. They do astronomy and they do arithmancy. I'm pretty sure that's wizard math.
If you're Hermione.
Right. But there is math at Hogwarts. I just don't think they elaborate on it, because I think arithmancy would definitely involve some math. But either way, we're talking about Hagrid.
We are.
We're talking about Hagrid. I just love that moment. I just love this whole... And then Harry gets his first account of, who Voldemort is and what happened. It's, his first brief, introduction to... And it's also the reader's first introduction to what actually happened.
Right? Get you thinking. Oh, he's famous? Why is he famous?
Yeah. And then,
Well, I guess you get your first taste really in the first chapter.
and then later when Katie is talking, after everything's gone down, Hagrid just says, "It's all my ruddy fault," he sobbed, his face in his hands. "I told the evil git how to get past Fluffy. I told him. It was the only thing he didn't know, and I told him. You could have died. All for a dragon egg. I'll never drink again. I should be chucked out and made to live as a muggle." Like, okay, Hagrid. Melodramatic much?
Little dramatic.
Little dramatic much, right?
But he's not wrong. It was kind of all his fault.
I mean, he did leak the information. He definitely did. For a dragon. He totally did it. 100%.
So, I mean, kind of agree with you there.
Well, yeah, the dragon egg was months before Quirrell, but, like, Quirrell got the information, then he had to plan it all out. Okay, now I got the information, I got the piece of the puzzle, now I gotta plan how to do the rest of it.
Step 1, attach yourself to the back of a person's head.
Well, that's Voldemort's step 1.
Voldemort is Quirrell, though.
Yeah, alright.
Quirrell wouldn't be doing it if Voldemort wasn't on the back of his head.
Well, that's true. This is unrelated, but it does seem like an oversight that math education is completely ignored for most wizard children.
It does. I mean, you do have arithmancy, but obviously not everyone takes that. That's an elective.
It is
taken
an
by
elective.
Hermione.
I think it depends on what you want to do in life. Okay, math education is important, but again, at the same time, how much math do wizards really need?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Maybe they do learn math, but it's like applied math. So you learn the math you need for each subject.
Right.
But you don't study it outside of it. It's kind of like in my high school, I remember you could take economics and you wouldn't have to take a math class.
Right. Oh, Katie says maybe there's a spell for doing math. Like a calculator kind of thing almost. But a spell.
Maybe.
There could be.
I mean, they're from all the Young Dudes fanfic. Apparently, there's a reading spell.
Well, I think there's definitely like applied math. But yeah, Katie, I agree. I don't apply any math that I learned at school.
Well, I definitely do.
Some. I do some things. Like, I have had to do, like, basic conversions. Basic ones, though. But, for the most part, it's pretty basic math that I use in my everyday life. I'm not sitting here doing quadratic formulas for my job.
Well, no.
Or in my day-to-day. Well, Mike, we're not all engineers, okay, dude? We didn't choose that path. That's on you, son. I'm sorry you decided to do that.
I mean, my last job, I had to do a lot of math and stuff. It wasn't, like, super intricate. Yeah, but more complicated than most people use. Just, like, converting fractions and...
But that's, like, basic stuff. I think what Katie is talking about is, like, high-level, intense math.
Like trigonometry, calculus?
Like calculus, trig, like, Katie got a science degree, too. Like
100% calculus, you do not need in the real world unless you're going to be a scientist.
Right, unless you are...
It was designed to explain how planets move.
Right. Like, you're not going to use that in your daily life.
Before we knew about that, it didn't matter.
Right. There's a lot of math that just doesn't have a lot of practical application unless you're in a very specific field. So for most witches and wizards, I don't think it's necessary. Like, I think there's probably applied math within classes. Like, I'm sure in potions class, they probably do basic fractions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure they maybe do conversions every once in a while and
what I
weigh
mean.
things.
I do a lot of like converting and like fractions and stuff like that when
Especially
I'm
when you're
cooking.
cooking. Yeah.
Especially when I'm doing something like making cookies, because every recipe makes like 20 million cookies.
Yeah.
There's never one that just
Makes like 6.
yeah.
I just want
What?
6 cookies.
Yeah,
No,
I don't
you're going to
want.
make 48 cookies and you're going to like it.
I'm not having a party. I don't want cookies for the next month. I just want cookies today.
Right. But I think that that's how it works at Hogwarts. Like, I think it's applied math. Like, I think there's probably applied math within potions class. I think there's probably applied math maybe in transfiguration. There could be.
Mm-hmm.
Transfiguration is very difficult and complex. There might be math involved there. There's maybe math in herbology. You know, I think there's math within these classes. It's just applied, and they just teach them how to do it within those classes. And then I think you have, like, actual math class, like arithmancy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they literally take astronomy. Don't tell me that they're taking astronomy and they're not doing math.
Well, calculus, like I was saying.
Yeah. So I'm sure it's there. Just
Transfiguration, probably. Yeah. Probably when you're first figuring it out. To better understand it, you have to do some.
plus, you know, the fact that they're doing math in class, it's not central to the plot.
Yeah, maybe they just skip over it. Probably have 3, but well, not 20 million, but last time I made cookies, I would have been good with just 1 tray of cookies, right? That's it. Just one tray. And it ended up making like 5 trays of cookies.
So
after that, I just, I divide everything by 5 and just make a batch.
but anyway, the point is,
Or freeze it.
um,
The last time I did that, I forgot about it, and then it was just bad. This freezer burnt, and the dough was no good. So I don't do that anymore.
so how about what's everyone's favorite book 2 Hagrid moment? Chamber of Secrets. What's everyone's favorite Chamber of Secrets moment for Hagrid?
Oh man, I don't know. There's like not really a standout one. I mean, I think one of the most memorable, just because it was the worst thing he could have done, was telling Harry to follow the spiders.
That's what Katie picked, the follow the spiders.
Follow the spider, yeah.
I picked the moment where Harry, Ron, and Hermione go to visit Hagrid in his hut when Ron is puking up the slugs.
Oh yeah.
I picked that moment because it's one of it. I think it shows Hagrid's sometimes oddly good ability to like console the kids, and sometimes he's actually genuinely got good advice.
When he has to go to Azkaban. Oof. Oh, that's cold, Keela. Jean came by earlier. I think she was hoping someone else would be there.
They talk about the whole yes Hagrid they're trying to hide from Lockhart and Colin Creevey. And
Doesn't he say,
Yeah,
never heard of it or something?
right? He, yeah. Pretty much Lockhart is trying to give him advice on stuff. And Hagrid's just like, yeah, not feeling it. And then they come in and um, they sit down, and Hagrid and Ron's just like puking up the slugs, and Hagrid's like, better out than in, you know.
Shrek moment.
And
Better out than in, I always say.
he says, "Been giving me advice on keeping kelpies out of a well," growled Hagrid, moving a half-plucked rooster off his scrubbed table and setting down the teapot. "Like I don't know, and banging on about some banshee he banished. If one word of it is true, I'll eat my kettle."
Even Hagrid knows.
Lockhart's full of shit. Like, Hagrid just knows.
Lockhart has the world fooled, but not Hagrid.
That's right. And then they talk about how Hermione got called a mudblood, and Ron explains what a mudblood is, and it's so weird because in the movie they have Hermione explain what a mudblood is, which makes no sense whatsoever.
Let's have the Muggle explain the wizarding terminology.
The Muggle-born witch explain what it is, whereas it makes a lot more sense for Ron to explain it, because Harry's just like, he called her I'm not really sure. What? A mudblood? I don't know. And then Ron goes like on this whole thing. And then Ron says, "I mean, the rest of us know it doesn't make any difference at all. Look at Neville Longbottom. He's pure blood and he can hardly stand a cauldron the right way up." So, and then
poor Neville.
And then Hagrid says, "And they haven't invented a spell or Hermione can't do." Like, it's just Hagrid being supportive and being genuine and being a good sounding board for them, and he's a very reckless adult, but sometimes he's also very genuine and supportive. And
he's a man-child, so he has the experience, but he can still relate to them because he does the same stupid stuff.
And then he shows them, and then Hagrid at the very end, he goes, "Harry," said Hagrid suddenly, as though struck by a sudden thought, "got a bone to pick with you. I've heard you've been giving out signed photos. How come I haven't got one?" I think this is why I like this one so much out of all the bits in this book, just because it's like every bit of Hagrid.
You get a little bit of everything.
You get like sassy Hagrid. You get
sensitive Hagrid.
Yeah, joking Hagrid, doing illegal magic Hagrid, because then he shows them.
You always get that with Hagrid. Illegal something with Hagrid.
And then he shows them the pumpkins, and he's like, "What, you giving them a little bit of help?" And Hermione's like, "Is that an engorgement charm?" She's a little bit disapproving, and Harry just looks at the pink umbrella like, Hagrid, what have you been doing, dude?
No, just, fertilizer, composting.
Yeah, right? There's not a lot of Hagrid in this book, but that was like my favorite bit. I don't know why. It's just fun. It's funny.
Hagrid isn't in this book a lot, but he has such a big role in this book at the same time.
He does, because then he gets accused of being like the guy that opened the chamber and all that. And you get the flashback scene of him when he's a kid, and Tom Riddle like telling him like, "They all know, Hagrid. They all know it was you and your freaky pet." And Hagrid's like, "No, Aragog would never. He would never do that." And then later on,
Aragog would totally do that.
yeah. And he did, follow the spiders? Follow the spiders? If Hagrid ever gets out of Azkaban, I'll kill him.
Hey, Patrick. Such a great saying from Hagrid. Shouldn't have said that.
Also,
Shouldn't
just
have said that.
that decision, follow the spiders. Hagrid genuinely thought Aragog would leave Harry and Ron alone.
I guess so.
He's so misguided in that decision.
Right, I want to know what was going through his head. Whether he thought that Aragog was going to accept them and help them, or if he was just going to be like, well, your friend's a Hagrid, okay, I'll let you go. Or just, what?
So reckless. What if Aragog had killed Harry Potter and ate him?
Can you just picture Dumbledore? Just
Dumbledore would be losing his mind.
Wait. So, just Harry Potter. He ate him? Why was he out there, Hagrid? Well,
You see, I told him to follow the spiders so that he'd know I was innocent. Yeah, Dumbledore's
well, at least that Horcrux is gone.
Dumbledore's whole plan ruined.
Right.
And then imagine he would have to tell Snape.
Oh.
Who just...
I feel like Snape would be kind of happy at the same time. Potter is dead.
What a tragedy.
Flying car saving the day always confused me.
It's magic.
Yeah, magic.
It's a magic car.
I always thought they needed to bring the car back.
Oh, I know. That's a gripe of yours, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Book 7. No return.
We're talking about, like, ring theory and bringing everything back, and they didn't bring back the car.
Well, book 7 parallels book 1, not book 2.
Doesn't.
I'm just saying. That is a good question, though. If Aragog had eaten Harry, would the Horcrux have been destroyed?
Well, Aragog is technically a magical creature, right?
Mm-hmm.
And since the Basilisk was a magical creature, the Fang destroyed the diary.
That's true.
Don't you think that Aragog would have been able to destroy the Horcrux?
Would Harry have hulked out of Aragog? Like, would he have had a King's Cross moment and then just, like, fought his way out of Aragog after he comes back to life?
I was thinking more of like a Shelob and Frodo moment. It's gonna be dead in the net and then...
Just
Yeah. Hagrid, the nice giant. That's right. The gentle giant.
Hagrid the BFG.
The misguided giant.
Well, I suppose if they envenomated Harry and it killed him and then he woke up before they ate him, maybe?
Wait, what?
The spiders.
And what about the spiders?
If they envenomated him and it killed him and then he woke up, like came back to life, maybe the Horcrux would have been destroyed?
Maybe. But so would all of his internal organs.
That's true.
Would have been jelly.
He would have been jelly liquid on the inside.
Yeah.
That's true. Log that into questions we do not have an answer for.
The most gruesome Capri Sun you've ever seen.
Which makes you wonder why Frodo didn't turn to jelly.
because she
Mithril,
just
right?
no, because she just paralyzed him. Because the orcs explain,
Oh yeah.
she likes to eat them fresh.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
she paralyzes him, wraps him up, and stores him away for later.
That's right. She doesn't fully envenomate him. That's
Yeah.
right.
Woo! And you're the one who read the Silmarillion.
It's not in the Silmarillion.
I know, but
That's
still.
in the Lord of the Rings.
I know. But Lord of the Rings are the only thing I've read. You've read The Hobbit, Silmarillion, Lord of the Rings. You watched the movies 100 times more than me. So
That's
I thought
true.
for sure you would know that.
I was focused on like my biology wavelength.
Gotcha. Oh, you did, Ben? What'd you think of it?
Oh yeah, how'd you like it? How did you like it?
You lost her tooth.
Yeah. Sorry, that's so exciting.
But book 3.
Right, book 3.
This is where Hagrid gets really good.
So book 3. Hello, Louise.
Hello.
Tough to keep everything straight. So many name changes and places. Yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot.
Oh, thank you, Kayla. Showing a little love to the Hufflepuffs today.
So, what was your favorite
Or
book?
maybe just Neville.
Maybe just Neville.
He is my man.
What was your favorite book 3 moment for Hagrid?
I mean, I love when he introduces Buckbeak and all them, and that whole thing goes down with Draco.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. That's what I picked. His first lesson as a teacher.
Yeah. Because yeah, okay. I was thinking of a scene from another book, but it's not in this.
It's a small moment, but in book 3, I love when Harry and Hermione go back in time when they see Hagrid stumbling drunkenly back to the castle after celebrating with Dumbledore because Buckbeak escaped.
Oh, that's right. That does happen. I was thinking that happened in Goblet when they were like outside in the bushes and they catch those two kissing, and Snape and Karkaroff having their conversation. I thought they saw Hagrid stumbling out of the party. Oh, that's when we did it. But yeah, I forgot that happens in this one.
Hagrid is pretty sad for most of this book.
Wouldn't you be?
Yeah, probably.
First class, and you have the dickhead kid gets hurt. Then you gotta put down poor little Buckbeak.
If it was kangaroos, I would be very angry.
You would have the kangaroo on your bed eating a rat. Well, not a rat because they don't eat meat.
Yeah.
But still, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I would be hiding him. I like the chapter where he introduces Buckbeak because you get that little bit at the beginning where he's like, "Did you guys open up your books?" And Malfoy's like, "Are you kidding me? How do you open them?"
You've got to stroke him.
And he's like, "You gotta stroke him. Stroke this boy." And Malfoy's just like, "How the fuck was I supposed to figure that out?" And Hagrid's just like, "Oh, it was funny." And they're all like, "Are you kidding me?"
You know, we can pick on Hagrid as much as we want, but I can't help but think that as a teacher, I would be Hagrid.
and just everything about the whole Buckbeak thing and trying to like really like
First one to figure out how to open your books gets 50 bonus points. 100 if you can do it without losing a finger.
Right? Um, but that's true. Only because only Hagrid would think to stroke a monster, even if it is a book.
The bookshop attendant did not think them funny. Yeah. Does the bookshop always carry them? Or was it like special ordered because Hagrid was like, we need these books, Dumbledore?
I think it was a special order because he talks about how, like, I wish we hadn't ordered these. It was like the time we ordered the Invisible Book of Invisibility. Oh, I feel like something's bitten me there.
It would have been so great if they just played on that and like a book or two later, you just have some kid that randomly trips over something in the middle of the floor.
Yep. And they're like, we found another one. Because he's like, we're still missing copies. Like, he's like, there's copies around somewhere. One of the only moments, where everyone was on Malfoy's side about that. They were like, F this is dumb.
Even Harry was like, yeah.
Yeah, even
You're
Harry
right.
was like, Hagrid, this was probably not a good idea.
I liked it. I thought it was great.
He's just so sad. He's like, hasn't anyone been able to open their books? Asked Hagrid, looking crestfallen. The class all shook their heads. You've got to stroke 'em, said Hagrid, as though this was the most obvious thing in the world. Look! He took Hermione's copy and ripped off the spellotape that bound it. The book tried to bite, but Hagrid ran a giant forefinger down its spine, and the book shivered, and then fell open and lay quiet in his hand. Oh, how silly we've all been, Malfoy sneered. We should have stroked them. Why didn't we guess? I thought they were funny, Hagrid said uncertainly to Hermione. Oh, tremendously funny, said Malfoy. Really witty. Giving us books that try to rip our hands off. Just Hagrid, why?
Yeah, that is a good question if you need to feed them. Like, how alive are they? Also,
Maybe they eat paper.
maybe.
They're books. Why wouldn't they eat paper?
I don't know. But also, how long do they stay open once you stroke the spine?
That is a question that is never answered.
Like, is this a race against time to study?
That's a very good question.
Your page flutters in the breeze a little bit, or you're gonna freak out and stroking.
Yeah, I don't know.
And yeah, I agree that was definitely a scam with the invisible books. It reminds me of that story about the emperor and his new clothes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Where the tailor makes him the most beautiful outfit, but it's invisible to anyone who does not understand beauty.
Right?
Invisible Book of Invisibility. Here you go. There's nothing there. That's because it's invisible. It's there, trust me.
You'd hopefully feel the weight of it, I would think. It should have some heft, I would hope. But yeah, Hagrid is pretty depressed in book 3, for the most part. He's a pretty sad dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, things weren't going too great for him.
He had this really great lesson planned.
And just a year ago, he did almost kill Harry.
He almost killed Harry the year before, too.
Even more reason to be upset.
But the hippogriffs are really cool. Hagrid thinks he's got it in the bag. Like, hippogriffs, we're gonna do this. It's gonna be awesome. It's my first lesson. It's gonna be impressive. No one likes the books. And then Malfoy gets bitten. Or clawed.
No, clawed, yeah. He got the raptor claw.
Yeah. Because he didn't follow directions.
To
Fair, if he had listened to Hagrid, he probably would have been fine.
You know what Hagrid should have done? Hagrid should have gave Malfoy the Alan Grant talk.
Oh.
Pull out like a hippogriff claw, go up to him, talk about how he rips you open.
The point is, Malfoy, you're alive when they start eating you.
Yeah, Malfoy doesn't listen. Hagrid gives very clear instructions. Malfoy doesn't listen. And he gets stabboed.
I agree. I love that there are multiple hippogriffs too. And we never know what happened to the rest of them.
I'm assuming they're fine.
Hopefully.
Well, they were not deemed aggressive animals.
I guess so.
Just Buckbeak.
That's one reason I'm really excited for Hogwarts Legacy. Get to fly around on hippogriffs.
Make a hippogriff friend.
Yeah.
Just don't blink when you bow and all that.
Would never.
I mean, Malfoy definitely deserved it. He didn't listen. But Hagrid's the one that kind of gets punished for it.
Mm-hmm. Hagrid was being a good teacher. Kind of. He taught them the appropriate way to do everything. If everyone listened, it would have been fine. It would have been a great class. But Hagrid underestimated how stupid kids can be.
Yeah.
Or maybe not how stupid, but what assholes some kids can be.
Yeah, that's the thing of it. And then after that, what do? They do flobberworms.
I just picture Hagrid just sitting in the corner, just fuming. There you go, you happy now? Didn't want freaking hippogriffs, now you gotta get flobberworms. So exciting, aren't they, kids? I'm gonna buy another dragon, I swear to God.
I know, because he had to send Fluffy back at the end of the first book.
Yeah, he sent
Fluffy
him to
had
Greece.
to go to Greece. Yeah.
Some guy in Athens.
Yeah. So.
What year was the Nifflers? I think that was year 4.
Yeah, Nifflers was year 4. Yeah, they probably did have to be removed from the castle. Because they don't teach about them again. They don't come back, the hippogriffs.
No.
It's probably like, done. They go back to whatever farm or wherever he got them from. They probably had to be returned.
Maybe you just let him go.
Just open the gate and let him go. I feel like that would get him in trouble. Hippogriffs are probably like...
What has Hagrid done that wouldn't get him in trouble?
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, they have this really cool first lesson, and then after that, like, Harry has this whole dilemma about how he likes Hagrid, but he hates his class. Because the flobberworms are the worst.
Well, thank Malfoy for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he started out with hippogriffs. I want to see his lesson plan. Like, what did he have planned had everything gone smoothly?
Right, if everything went well, what was he going to do after that? That's a very good question. Because I feel like when he got the job, the first thing Dumbledore probably told him was, "No dragons, Hagrid. We cannot have dragons. No. No dragons. But, no. No.
No, Hagrid was probably like, okay, sounds good. No wyverns either. No drakes.
No worms."
Killing me here, Professor Dumbledore.
Don't they want to learn about fun creatures?
Hagrid is part Targaryen, that's all it is.
Katie's like, I'm not sure Hagrid thought any further than hippogriffs.
That's fair.
Yeah, he probably didn't. He probably was like, we're going to do this.
He probably just goes to Nocturne Alley, gets drunk, and whatever animal he buys or wins in his gambling, that's what they learn about the next day.
Well, it's also got to be kind of hard for Hagrid because, like, Professor Lupin also does a lot of magical creatures with them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like kind of stealing his thunder a little bit. They're dark creatures, but they're still magical creatures.
That's true.
So maybe he was like, we're going to do Grindylows this time. Oh, Hagrid, we learned about Grindylows in Professor Lupin's class.
Son of a bitch.
We're learning about Boggarts today. Learned about that in Lupin. God damn it.
That's true. You don't care for the dark creatures. You're just there to, like, defend against them.
Well, maybe
Or
they're dark
destroy
creatures
them.
because no one has shown them any love.
Maybe. I mean, the Grindylows did try to drag Fleur to her death in Book 4. But, you know.
Well, she invaded their home.
That's true.
I mean, you barge into a bear's den. Guess what? It's not going to work out too well for you.
I don't know. I don't think there would have been any overlap either. I was just being silly. Yeah, other than that, Hagrid's just sad and depressed over Buckbeak. That's like the rest of the book. Just being sad and having Ron and Hermione help with his defense trial. And then it goes badly. Because the Malfoys have a lot of money and influence, and Hagrid is a half-giant. Unfortunately.
Brought a dragon to school the first year. So. That's what I mean. Dementors are just looking for love. That's all. That's so much.
Well, they find it when it's really foggy outside.
That's not love. That's an orgy.
Maybe that is love for a Dementor.
I'm not judging, but I am totally judging, yeah. All right, book 4. Speaking of...
So, book 4. Favorite Hagrid moments from book 4.
I kind of really like the moment when Hagrid takes Madame Maxine to see the dragons.
C'est magnifique. That's what she says in the movie.
I feel like it's a really nice moment for Hagrid. Because he's just so excited to see the dragons. He gets to be with Madame Maxime. And she's even happy to be there.
Well, she's super, super stoked.
And, you know, at the same time, Hagrid gives Harry a peek at what's
the dragons.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And Harry, like, is following behind in the invisibility cloak, and he just, Harry's, like, getting annoyed with Hagrid. He's like, why has he dragged me down here in the middle of the night? I'm supposed to go talk to Sirius. If Hagrid's stupidity or whatever bullshit he's doing...
I do not want to see your date, Hagrid. I get it. You have a girlfriend. I believe you. I'm going home now.
That is the same moment that I chose, Katie. When Hagrid is holed up in his cabin after Rita Skeeter's scoop. That was the one I picked.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's
Yeah,
all, like, sad and depressed.
For me, that moment was more of a Dumbledore moment, though. Because that's when we first hear about his brother and the goats.
Yes, we hear about...
You looking up that moment?
Yeah, I'm just reading it, because Harry calls Rita Skeeter a cow. And he's like, sorry, Professor Dumbledore. And Dumbledore's like, I'll pretend I didn't hear that. I have gone temporarily deaf and have no idea what you said. It is a Dumbledore moment, but yeah, like Hagrid has some really good stuff that he says. You find out about Hagrid's parentage. You find out about his dad and stuff.
That man. That was one brave man. Now that, if we're going to have a prequel, let's have that. How I Met Your Mother with Hagrid's dad.
Never be ashamed, my old dad used to say. There's some who'll hold it against you, but they're not worth bothering with. And he was right. I've been an idiot. I'm not bothering with her no more, I promise you that. Big bones. I'll give her big bones.
Yeah, that didn't age well. Hagrid wasn't bothering with that. Right.
Right? Well, he's upset right now.
Trio really put to Hagrid how much they love him? Yeah. It's a really nice moment for Hagrid. You see how many people really care about him there.
There's the bit about the goats.
My own brother Aberforth was prosecuted for practicing inappropriate charms on a goat. It was all over the papers. But did Aberforth hide? No, he did not. He held his head high and went about his business as usual. Of course, I'm not entirely sure he can read, so that may not have been bravery.
So, yep, there it is. Hagrid, it's just a good teaching moment, too. Hagrid is, like, really upset about the whole situation. Like, people are going to hate him, yada, yada, yada. And Dumbledore is like, well, I have got letters out the wazoo from parents who want you to stay. And if you are holding out for everyone to love you, it's never going to happen. It's not the way the world works, bud.
Exactly.
Some people are going to like you. Some people are not going to like you. That's just the way it is. Whether you're a half giant or not.
And Hagrid becomes the best teacher he can be. I was gonna say the best. Yeah, I can't remember what I was gonna say, but he did his best.
He does his best. He does his best. Although some people, like Hermione later on, think that Professor Grubbly Plank was actually a better teacher.
Well, she's wrong.
Okay. All right, Harry.
I mean, that she was.
It's just a good teaching moment for kids, too, or whoever reads the book.
Grubbly Plank's the one that brings in the baby unicorn, right?
Yes.
The gold unicorn.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And everyone loves it.
Suck up.
Well, considering that it was that or the blast-ended Scroots.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta learn about the bad with the good.
The only reason they were doing that, though, is because Hagrid was raising those for the maze.
Exactly. So, see...
I know, but I mean...
If they needed unicorns for the maze, Hagrid would have been loved by everyone.
That's right. The unicorns that the boys couldn't approach.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
They tend to like girls better.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
I guess I'll just have to be unicorn free. Think of the unicorns from Gravity Falls now every time unicorns are brought up, though.
You're not pure of heart!
Most annoying thing ever in that show.
Oh my god. What was her name? Crystal
Amethyst or something?
Crystal Amethyst or something. That's the name of that unicorn.
Either way.
You're
Yeah.
not pure of heart. Get away.
Hagrid was the best teacher.
I don't know if Hagrid is in all actuality a good teacher.
He is.
Is he?
Yeah.
The flobberworms?
He was forced to do that because of Draco. He did a great job teaching those kids how to act around hippogriffs, and if they had listened, it would have been fine.
The blast-ended Scroots. Harry literally
Blast-ended
hates...
screws he had to do because of the Goblet of Fire tournament, the Triwizard tournament. There we go. He had no choice.
And everyone hates it. Harry says multiple times, like, he loves Hagrid, but he hates going to his class.
It's not his fault they had to...
He didn't make the kids raise them. He could have raised them.
There were a lot of them, though.
He could have raised them.
Look, he's min-maxing, right? Why would he bother doing all that extra work plus teaching when he can just merge them together, have the kids help raise them, and teach at the same time?
This is a good question. Katie said, was it because of the third task, or did Dumbledore need to come up with a reason for the Scroots' existence? Was Hagrid fooling around, doing things he shouldn't have been doing, and Dumbledore needed an excuse?
Oh man, we need like a PG-13 or an R-rated Dumbledore story, just like behind the scenes.
Like, I could see it being like, before the school year starts, and Hagrid's like, Professor Dumbledore, look what I made.
Hagrid. What the fuck?
Just what the fuck. Fox eats one.
Just burps out fire.
Yep.
As spelled soon become a teacher. They're a good choice from Dumbledore. Well, Dumbledore, like, knew that he didn't do it. He just couldn't prove it.
Right. His name is cleared, so he gets the job as, like, compensation.
Yeah.
Katie's right. Like, his name got cleared, he went to Azkaban, it was not a good time, so to kind of make up for it, they're like, we'll let you teach classes.
Yeah.
Doesn't go that well.
Again, wasn't his fault. Wasn't all his fault.
Like,
I guess if you...
In book 6, when he's like, so you're gonna take care of magical creatures, and Harry is like, no. Love you, Hagrid, but no. 'Cause I don't like your class very much.
Wish we could have known what they were learning about. Well, I guess...
What, in 6?
Yeah. I was gonna say the last few years, but then, like, the last 2 years, Harry really isn't there at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright, Kayla. Thank you for popping in while you could. Hello, Marcelo. So, speaking of the next few years, book 5, Hagrid.
Mm-hmm. What was your favorite? Because you got that look on your face like you have a banger of an idea.
Oh, I don't know if I have a banger of an idea. I really like the Thestral lesson.
It is pretty great.
I
don't
do.
really remember a lot from Hagrid in this one.
He's not in the book a lot.
Yeah. Because it's 6 when he's with Slughorn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gone most of the time doing the giant thing
Yeah.
with Madame Maxime.
So it's probably when he introduces a Grupp.
Katie's like, my favorite is when he meets Umbridge for the first time. And he lies about all of his injuries, and she's just like, not buying it.
Oh yeah, when he has the green dragon stake and everything. Whose eye was that? This one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. It's totally racist. And the more the books go on, the more we get a sense of how like racist Fudge is and how pro pureblood he is. And I think it starts with book 2.
Mm-hmm. Then you have Umbridge, who's just, you don't have to think about it much. It's just obvious.
Yeah, where she talks to him like he's stupid. But we like learn some things about Hagrid, how there is only one tame herd of Thestrals in all of Britain, and Hagrid is the one that tamed them. And
See,
trained
there's a
them.
lot to learn from this man. I'm telling you.
He's trained them. I'm sure without Hagrid, those Thestrals would not be able to pull the carriages.
Nope. I want to know how that went down. How did he train them, like, first couple of days?
That's a very good question.
Just start bringing meat out to them and, just every day get a little closer, start petting them.
Probably. I would think.
Hagrid with the centaurs.
And then you have, you do get that moment in the Thestral lesson where they're talking about only the dead can see them and this and that, and Hermione puts her foot right in her mouth and says, how great would it be to be able to see a Thestral? I wish I really could see them. And Harry is like, really? Really? You'd like to be able to see them? And she's like,
well, you know the spell how to see them now, so pick someone you don't like.
And then she's just like...
that's right. Hagrid does save friends, right?
What do you mean?
Hagrid's most badass off-screen moments of awesomeness, it's when he saved friends from being killed by his herd.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because they were about to go after him. Look how fat this is. This is such a fat book.
Hagrid is just everywhere doing everything.
In this book, yeah, there's just so many.
I'm telling you, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them should have just been the Crocodile Hunter, but with Hagrid traveling around and talking about magical creatures. That's what that movie should have been.
I'm looking at this whole conversation with Umbridge.
Which one? Where
she's in the hut and trying to, like, figure out where he's been and what he's been doing. Like, it's just... He's such a bad liar. He's so bad at it.
I know. It's amazing that anyone would trust him with any secrets.
Yeah, that is the thing, isn't it? I've been away for me health, he says. For your health, said Professor Umbridge. Her eyes travelled over Hagrid's discoloured and swollen face. Dragon blood dripped gently and silently onto his waistcoat. I see. Yeah, said Hagrid. Bit of fresh air, you know. Yes, as gamekeeper, fresh air must be so difficult to come by. Well, change of scenery, you know. Mountain scenery? Mountains, Hagrid repeated, clearly thinking fast. Nope, south of France for me. Bit of sun and sea. Really? Said Umbridge. You don't have much of a tan. Yeah, well, sensitive skin. Like, just
can't keep it going at all.
I shall, of course, be informing the minister of your late return. Right. You ought to know, too,
that as Hogwarts High Inquisitor, it is my unfortunate but necessary duty to inspect my fellow teachers, so I dare say that we shall meet again soon enough.
Like, just...
What sort of thing are you planning to do with us in class, Hagrid? Asked Hermione. Oh, don't worry about that. I've got a great load of lessons planned.
Like, just...
See, he has a load of lessons. I want to know what they all are.
Look, Hagrid, said Hermione urgently, dropping all pretense. Professor Umbridge won't be at all happy if you bring in anything to class that's too dangerous. Dangerous? Said Hagrid, looking genially bemused. Don't be silly. I wouldn't give you anything dangerous. I mean, all right, they can look after themselves. Hagrid, you've got to pass Umbridge's inspection, and to do that it would really be better if she saw you teaching us how to look after Porlocks, how to tell the difference between gnarls and hedgehogs. Stuff like that, said Hermione earnestly. Well, that's not very interesting, Hermione, said Hagrid. The stuff I've got's much more impressive. I've been bringing him on for years. I reckon I've got the only domestic herd in Britain.
And then later we get the whole thing with the...
Thestrals and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then we get the conversation about, like, what they are, and...
Friends and centaurs at a time.
And then Umbridge does the whole, like...
Now, Thestrals. Oh, hello. You received the note I sent to your cabin this morning, telling you that I would be inspecting your lesson? Oh, yeah, said Hagrid brightly. Glad you found the place all right. Well, as you can see, I don't know, can you? We're doing Thestrals today. I'm sorry, said Professor Umbridge loudly, cupping her hand around her ear and frowning. What did you say? Hagrid looked a little confused. Thestrals, he said loudly. Bigger, winged horses, you know. He flapped his gigantic arms hopefully. Professor Umbridge raised her eyebrows at him and muttered as she made a note on her clipboard. Has to resort to crude sign language.
God, I hate her so much.
Like, just... Yeah, I just, it's so good. I know, she heard him, she's just being a bee. Mm-hmm. She's so terrible. She's so awful. And then, it's too bad, because the Thestrals are actually, they're one of my favorites in the whole thing.
The Thestrals?
Yeah.
Like your favorite creature?
Yeah, they're one of my favorite creatures in the whole series. Like,
Why is that?
I just love them. They're so eerie and pretty and dark and they nice.
Goth Pegasus.
Yeah, I just like them.
Well, anyway, what was I saying? Appears to have poor short-term memory,
muttered Umbridge loudly enough for everyone to hear her. Draco Malfoy looked as though Christmas had come a month early. Hermione, on the other hand, had turned scarlet with suppressed rage. Oh, yeah, said Hagrid, throwing an uneasy glance at Umbridge's clipboard, but ploughing on valiantly. Yeah, I was going to tell you how come we got a herd. Yeah, so we started off with a male and 5 females. This one, he patted the first horse to have appeared. Name of Tenebris. He's my special favourite. First one born here in the forest. Are you aware, said Umbridge loudly, interrupting him, that the Ministry of Magic has classified Thestrals as dangerous? Harry's heart sank like a stone, but Hagrid merely chuckled. Thestrals aren't dangerous. All right, they might take a bit out of you if you really annoy 'em. Shows signs of pleasure at idea of violence,
muttered Umbridge, scribbling on her clipboard again. Now, come on, said Hagrid, looking a bit anxious now. I mean, a dog'll bite you if you bait it, won't it? But Thestrals have just got a bad reputation 'cause of the death thing. People used to think they were omens, didn't they? Just didn't understand, did they?
Please continue teaching as usual. I'm going to walk, she mimed walking, among the students and ask them questions. So she literally says, I'm going to walk around and talk to the students. Like, she's the worst.
Yeah, give it to Hagrid for having the patience to not, like, feed her to the Thestrals.
Right?
Be a shame if the Thestrals got a little antsy today. Favorite creature is Fluffy? I agree. Fluffy is great.
I mean, I just love that moment. Hagrid really does keep it together. He does keep his cool.
Yeah, he does.
Whereas, like, Harry and Hermione are, like, this close to losing their shit.
Mm-hmm.
But
I feel like they've had to deal with Umbridge more, though, so it makes sense.
yeah. But Hagrid has also personally dealt with the prejudice a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, Harry and Hermione are experiencing it firsthand here, and they're just like, this is awful. But it's probably something that Hagrid has dealt with, like, his whole life.
Yeah, he's probably used to it. I don't think as blatant as Umbridge does.
No, probably not.
But yeah, definitely something that he deals with a lot. Yeah, Hagrid's tale is a great moment when he just tells the whole story about how he met Grop and their travels to the mountains.
It's pretty good.
Hagrid, alone with Madame Maxine in a cave for months.
I mean,
I am surprised that there is not a little Hagrid out there.
there could be. We never hear
Speaking
from
French.
We never hear from Madame Maxime again, so you never know. And then we get the chapter later where Hagrid is like trying to talk to Grop, and he brings Harry and Hermione to meet Grop, and they're just like, Hagrid, what the fuck, dude?
I know, Hermione just loses her cool. Just freaks out. That was one of my biggest issues with consistency across the books and the shows. Emma Watson was always like overly emotional in her scenes, and then it came to that scene, cool as a cucumber. It's supposed to be the exact opposite. Hermione is always level-headed, calm, and that scene she's supposed to absolutely lose her shit. Freak out. No. Didn't happen.
Yeah, she like yells like, Grop, put me down. And it's like, no, that's not how Hermione is supposed to feel in this moment.
That's what kind of blinds me to that moment, because I'm just like, oh, so bad, the acting.
Yeah. That was one of my least favorite things too. I have to run to the loo real quick.
Okay.
I feel like there's more to be said about Hagrid in book 5, I think.
Yeah, like what?
I don't.
Oh.
I'm going to that.
I thought you had, like, something you wanted to talk about.
Nope. I'm going to that.
Does he even show up in book 6? What does he do in book 6? Oh, yeah. And then 7 he shows up for the very end. Mention another one up above. When he gets blasted with the stunning spells by the ministry officials and they don't affect him, and he picks up Fang and runs off. That was great. I love that.
Yeah, we did talk about it a little bit earlier because the illustration for that scene is just so great. Because the spells are like flying off of him, and he's just basically slapping one of the ministry officials. And having hands the size of trash can lids, I can only imagine that it would hurt a lot. But yeah, I think it's one of his more badass moments for sure.
Well, what do you want? You up? Oh, don't knock that over. But now we get to move on to book 6. And the best Hagrid moment of all time. The Slughorn moment. And what's really great is like Hagrid's just there for this moment, really. It's really like a Slughorn and Harry moment. That Hagrid's just along for the ride. But it's such a great moment. Has everything. Right? The song they sing. Yeah, when you get back, you'll have to sing the song. Or read it. You know, Snape can call himself the Half-Blood Prince all he wants, but is Hagrid the true Half-Blood Prince? I like to think so. I should sing that song. She will. Try to find it for you. She knows the exact chapter. Do you know the page too? Oh, okay. There, after the burial.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it should be.
Yep, it is.
Yes, it is what?
It is the right chapter. And page 400, in case you were wondering.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
I haven't found the song, but this is where like the scene starts. I heard rumors there were acromantula in the forest.
Oh, right. No, I agree, Katie. In some ways, Half-Blood Prince is like the funniest book.
Yeah.
It's so dark, but it's so funny.
Oh, there.
Oh my god, why are you doing that to the
What?
spine? You're opening it up so wide.
I did.
Don't. Not so wide.
Ew. Lola.
What did Lola do?
You just sneezed on me.
Oh, like actual snot spittles?
Yeah, like I felt wet.
Oh, here she goes. Boom.
As long as she doesn't lay on the keyboard again, we're good.
Did you be the nice BB? Did you be the nice BB? The nice BB. Nice BB. Oh dear. So should I sing it in Slughorn's voice?
And Odo the hero, they bore him back home, to the place that he'd known as a lad. They laid him to rest with his hat inside out, and his wand snapped in two, which was sad.
The ending is just the best part.
Terrible.
Hagrid grunted, and his great shaggy head rolled sideways onto his arms, and he fell asleep, snoring deeply.
Sorry,
said Slughorn with a hiccup.
Can't carry a tune to save my life.
What?
And then Harry and Slughorn talk about Lily and Horcruxes and all that.
And then we get the foggy memory.
Yep. Well, then he gets the good memory. Yeah. This is one of the best chapters, though, too, just because, like, where is it? No, Harry. He got to his feet, smiling, brimful of confidence. Excellent, he said. Really excellent. Right. I'm going down to Hagrid's. What? Said Ron and Hermione together, looking aghast. No, Harry. You've got to go and see Slughorn, remember? Said Hermione. No, said Harry confidently. I'm going to Hagrid's. I've got a good feeling about going to Hagrid's. You got a good feeling about burying a giant spider? Asked Ron, looking stunned. Yeah, said Harry, pulling his invisibility cloak out of his bag. I feel like it's the place to be tonight. You know what I mean? No, said Ron and Hermione together, both looking positively alarmed now. This is Felix Felicis, I suppose, said Hermione anxiously, holding up the bottle to the light. You haven't got another little bottle of, I don't know, essence of insanity, suggested Ron, as Harry swung his cloak over his shoulders. Harry laughed, and Ron and Hermione looked even more alarmed. Trust me, he said. I know what I'm doing. Or at least, he strolled confidently to the door. Felix does. Just...
Felix is just a character now.
Yeah, it's so good. Seized with an immediate desire to reveal himself, Harry pulled off the cloak with a flourish. Good evening, Professor. Just, like, it's so good. It's so good. The whole chapter is just so good. And then Hagrid's just so great. Like, this is one of the best chapters in the whole book, and, like, Hagrid's just...
The party comes to Hagrid.
Yeah. And then Slughorn's words about Aragog.
Farewell, Aragog, king of arachnids, whose long and faithful friendship those who knew you won't forget. Though your body will decay, your spirit lingers on in the quiet web-spun places of your forest home. May your many-eyed descendants ever flourish, and your human friends find solace for the loss they have sustained. That was beautiful,
Howled Hagrid. And he collapsed onto the compost heap, crying harder than ever.
Yeah, we'll definitely do more of these videos. You guys enjoy it, going through the best moments
Of the
these
characters, right?
And you got me there, Melanie. I guess he would be half-breed. Probably, by the standards. Okay, so Snape can be the half-blood prince. Hagrid is the half-breed prince.
I mean, half-breed... Is that really a very nice term to use?
No, but he owns it.
Half-breed. No. Oh, I learned to hate the word. Half-breed. Maybe he's a Cher fan. I don't know.
I could see that. I could see Hagrid being a fan of like some music you don't really expect him to be a fan of.
Well, that's a Cher song.
Yeah, I'm saying.
He might identify with that. Just throwing it out there. Yeah, Melanie knows what I'm talking about.
Different twist for the snake.
I don't know. That's just like the one moment in 6 that stands out to me with Hagrid is the whole thing with Aragog and the spider and Slughorn. It just... And it's such a good parallel to 2. Harry sneaking down to Hagrid's, and it ends up all culminating with Aragog.
Poor Aragog.
And it all has to also do with memories. So you've got Harry go follow the spiders in 2 so that he can learn the truth about what happened in Hagrid's past and how he didn't open the Chamber of Secrets. And then in 6, he goes down for the burial of Aragog, and he is trying to find the real Slughorn memory that will unlock the past of the Horcruxes and Voldemort.
It's deep.
Paralleling up in this piece.
And finally, 7, I think we have to go with Grop throwing Hagrid through the window. Battle of Hogwarts.
What did I pick?
I think that, or maybe when Hagrid carries Harry.
That was kind of what I picked, was Hagrid carrying Harry, because I couldn't think of anything else. Hagrid's just absolute and utter grief over
The loss of Harry.
the loss of Harry.
Or so he thinks.
And when he screams at the centaurs on his way out with Harry, he like yells at the centaurs, calls them cowards for not fighting.
A lot of emotion there.
It is just really sad. Like, he's cradling Harry like he's a baby, just like he cradled Harry at the very beginning of the book.
Yeah.
And he's just devastated and so sad. And, that's really it in book 7, though, with Hagrid. We don't really get anything else with Hagrid other than the beginning when they fly.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end when he carries him. That's really about it. And then you find out he had to go into hiding for throwing a support Harry Potter party.
Yeah.
And they're all just like, Hagrid, that was very sweet.
But also very stupid.
Yes. Yes.
Aramark calls her Mubla in Chambers. Yeah. Yeah, Heather, when Ron's picking up the slugs.
Yeah. Yeah, when Hagrid jumps on the broom of the... Yeah, I don't think that Death Eater was expecting that. Hagrid just jumps on him. Or, yeah, because they're not staying afloat.
Exceeded load capacity.
Yeah, not happening. Not sticking together at all. That illustration is so good. I wonder what the illustrations at the end of Deathly Hallows for the other...
You'll just have to buy all the editions and we'll have to look.
All the other house editions?
Yeah.
Oh, God. That's so much money, though.
Only like a paycheck or 2.
Yeah, right? For all of them? Yeah. Yes, we do. Oh, that's right. Hagrid is at the wedding. He sits on a bunch of the chairs and crushes them.
Oh, yeah. And Hagrid is there for Dumbledore's funeral.
Oh, yeah, at the end of 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's bawling his eyes out.
Which, I mean, is nice, but I feel like those moments kind of lose some of their power when we're talking about all of them together like this, just because there's a lot of moments where Hagrid cries a lot. Like, when you think about it, he does it. Yeah, there's quite a few scenes where he's crying.
Hagrid is like this big, burly, strong, manly dude. And he cries an awful lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
He's got a sensitive side.
I like it. No toxic masculinity for Hagrid.
Real big burly man knows how to show his feelings.
That's right. No toxic masculinity for Hagrid. It's good. It is. It's healthy. He's an emotional guy.
That's why Madame Maxine loves him. Even if she doesn't know it yet.
I mean, he's literally the only dude her size.
You don't know that.
I mean,
Thought Hagrid was the only one his size, and then we found out another lady his size. Has Hagrid been to, like, Australia? Has he been to Japan?
I really don't think he's gonna find anyone his size in Japan.
You'd never know.
I feel like, of all places,
Don't judge so quickly.
I feel like he'd have better luck in, like, Sweden.
I mean, maybe.
Buckbeaks would be executioner, didn't have to be a Death Eater. Felt like that was typecasting or stereotyping.
It didn't have to be, but I think it just went on to show how the Death Eaters have, like, penetrated the Ministry.
And
they're just everywhere, like 90% of the Ministry is Death Eaters.
Right, how they're still
At least that one division.
a large segment. Like, the entire Ministry has all of these guys still integrated, still manipulating and controlling
Certain aspects.
the power structure. Because you got Fudge, who is very much like, still very pure blood. So, of course, who would be in the Ministry?
And you don't want to, write a good character for an executioner. Some dude who loves his job.
I mean, maybe he does love his
Just
job.
whistling while he works.
He could. He could be.
Oh, who do I get to kill today? Oh, a hippogriff.
What animal do I get to slaughter today?
Which axe do I want to choose for this?
This cat has thumbs. Yeah, I think he likes this job.
Yeah, I think so. You mean I get to kill people?
Yeah.
And I won't get in trouble?
Right? Yeah, I think it just goes to show how taking over the Ministry was not very difficult for Voldemort because so many of his people were still in positions of power, because when this all went down the first time, the Ministry really did not handle it very well, I guess.
Oh, the Rancor? Oval Executioner, Big Monster, and Jabba's Hut. Yeah, the Rancor that was down there.
Oh,
That Boba Fett befriends in
I know.
Mandalorian season 2.5.
The Rancor, yeah. The guy that like cries when it gets killed.
Oh yeah.
There's like a guy dressed like an executioner, and he's like really sad when the Rancor gets killed. When Luke actually kills
I thought
him.
we were just talking about Boba Fett and how the Rancor is like this big lovable baby to Boba Fett.
No,
Remember?
he's talking about Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, 7. There's not a whole lot to talk about with Hagrid, just because there's just not a lot. He's just not in the book very much. It's got like 3 scenes.
I mean, the scenes that he was in were great, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Showed all the emotions across 3 scenes.
Yeah, Hagrid is kind of like I want to say kind of like a father figure to Harry, but also not at the same time.
I think Hagrid was more like a big brother figure.
Yeah.
You know, they know more. You still learn stuff,
Or
but
an uncle.
or uncle,
Like
but you
fun
still
uncles.
see the immature side to them. You know,
Right. Hagrid teaches
They
you
don't
things.
have to be so strict with you as a parent.
Hagrid teaches you some good things, but then he also teaches you like what not to do.
Yeah.
Best moment in the whole series.
Slughorn and the Felix Felicis. Kidding me?
Yeah, you
This
think
is
so?
great. Well, but then again, I just don't know if I'd classify that as much of a Hagrid moment. You go first. What was your favorite?
I'm thinking about it. I have to think about it. I'm not 100% sure. Hmm. There's so many good ones. It's gotta be in the hut on the rocks on the sea. Yeah, I'm not sure. I have to think about it. I really do like the introduction, like the first time we ever see Hagrid. But I also love the whole thing with Slughorn. It's one of my favorite like moments in the series.
I'd say either on the rock when we first meet him, or when we meet Buckbeak. We have that conversation about the books.
Oh, and he talks about the books.
Yeah, I think we saw like the true Hagridness. You know,
Like everything about Hagrid in like one moment.
saw his love for animals, and then his
Bad judgment.
bad judgment, his inability, but also his knowledge of animals. Inability to teach about them, but knowledge of animals.
Right.
And humor. I thought it was funny. That's why I got the book. Wanted to see how many of you lost a finger before you got here. How was
Really good
Fudge
pun.
even elected? Who would have chosen him as minister anyway? I don't know. Look, we've elected some pretty bad politicians.
I was gonna say I can definitely believe Fudge got elected.
Harry comes back to Hogwarts at the end of Chamber of Secrets. That is pretty great. It's a very emotional. We didn't really talk about that. That was actually a really good one.
What?
When Hagrid comes back at the end of Chamber of Secrets.
Oh.
And Harry sees him come in and he sits down.
Yeah. And Harry's all like happy and excited
Yeah.
to see Hagrid back.
Feel good moment.
It is a feel good moment. I think if Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene can get elected, then it should not be a surprise that Fudge could get elected.
I wasn't going to get so specific in the politics, but okay, here we are.
I'm just saying. You know what I bet it was? I bet it was the economy. I bet Fudge ran on the economy.
Okay, favorite Hagrid.
I don't know!
We're not a political channel.
I don't know. I don't know if I genuinely have one. It's hard for me to like just pick one.
All right, then top 2 at least, because I mean, I did top 2.
Right? Katie can't decide either. Don't put it all on me. It's hard to just pick one. I don't know. The Slughorn moment is really, really great. Katie's like, drunk Hagrid is the best Hagrid. Anytime Hagrid's
Anytime
drunk.
he was drunk. I guess that would be when he's stumbling back in Prisoner of Azkaban. I think that was the drunkest we saw him because he's carrying the barrel of beer.
Yeah, yeah. That's true. Oh, that's right. In book 1, his cheeks just get redder and redder at Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then he kisses McGonagall on the cheek.
Hagrid,
right.
you dog. No, what's happening in the teacher's lounge?
Can Hagrid fit in there?
I mean, they have tents that are like mansions. I'm pretty sure they can make a lounge big enough to fit Hagrid.
That's true. They had an after party. There you go. God, the ferocity over there. Ferocious beast.
I guess that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the Slughorn bit would have to be pretty high up there for me. The first time we meet him too, but yeah, I don't know. Anytime he's drunk is pretty funny.
Yeah.
That moment in 4 when he's moaning about the article and how upset he is about the article. And then teases Harry.
Mm-hmm.
When he teases Harry is pretty good in 2. Oh, a signed photo, Harry. What the heck?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've been no help. I've been so tired tonight. I can't really think, but
There are just so many great moments with Hagrid. The story is so good. Oh, when Hagrid bursts into Dumbledore's office to say that Harry's innocent.
oh yeah.
Have you calmed down? That is a good one. But Harry... Hagrid... No, listen, you don't understand. It couldn't have been Harry. Hagrid.
I believe you.
Right? I know. Dumbledore says like 3 or 4 times. Hagrid, Hagrid! Hagrid! That's a good one too. Hagrid is just like, yeah, the reckless kind of older brother or uncle that gives you guiding advice. But at the same time, like, Hagrid
Isn't afraid to have a drink with you.
is not afraid to have a drink with you, is not afraid, is really reckless and makes bad decisions. Also a little bit prejudiced in and of himself. Just saying.
When?
Harry's entire opinion of Slytherin starts with Hagrid.
Oh, yeah. Well, in his defense, he had a really bad experience with the Slytherin.
Okay, fair enough.
His whole life as it is now is because of a Slytherin.
That's true. That's true.
Tom Riddle ruined his life.
Tom Riddle ruined a lot of lives.
Hagrid could have been a doctor. Could have been...
I don't know about that.
He could have been working with the dragons over with Charlie.
Okay, maybe that.
Yeah. So, it's understandable that Hagrid would not like Slytherins.
But he also doesn't need to just throw out biases right there that Harry
Also-
is just immediately like, ooh, I don't want to be a Slytherin.
Also, we experienced 5-6 years of Slytherins. Pretty much with Harry. Hagrid has experienced 50 years of Slytherins. So, you know what? I think he knows what he's talking about. No offense to Slytherins. You guys know what you're about, so I don't think anyone will get offended.
Wow.
What?
You're so hateful. In Hogsmeade, when they're talking about Sirius, when they thought he was guilty, Hagrid's saying he could have just crushed Sirius. Yeah, him and McGonagall and Cornelius Fudge all talked to Rosmerta about Sirius.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Sirius. So how did they clear Hagrid's name after Chamber? What proof did Dumbledore show the Ministry? Well, the Chamber was opened after Hagrid left. So, Hagrid was in Azkaban when the Chamber was opened the last time. So, couldn't have been Hagrid.
And I think the magical diary would have held some proof there. Not to mention Harry Potter saying something, so, you know, that pulls some weight. Then you have Dumbledore saying something. And, a lot of people.
And the Weasleys.
Yeah. So yeah, I think there's a lot that would constitute as evidence that Hagrid didn't do it.
Mm-hmm. And the monster was a basilisk because you've got the, you know, the fang that destroyed the diary. I'm sure they could. There's residual venom or whatever, so they know it was a basilisk that was the monster.
I mean, they could have brought them down there if they really wanted to see.
Yeah, maybe they did. Look at this thing. Look at this shit.
And also show them that only a Parseltongue could get down, and Hagrid is not a Parseltongue.
Right. That's true. If the Ministry will take Dumbledore's word for Snape, they'll definitely take his word with Hagrid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas we know Snape was definitely, hands down, was a Death Eater. Have that proof. So, Hagrid was not a Death Eater. The only thing going against him is the fact that he's a half-breed.
Yeah, pretty much. All he has against him is prejudice.
Yep. Funny how that works, isn't it? But yeah, it's Hagrid. Some of the best moments in the books are Hagrid moments.
Yeah.
Some of the best chapters in the books are Hagrid moments.
But
he's a good dude. One of the most iconic characters in the series. You can't think of Harry Potter without Hagrid.
Exactly. And you can't think of Hagrid without picturing Robbie Coltrane.
Yeah, he was Hagrid. Hands down. He was perfect in the role. Looked exactly like how I pictured kind of in my head, you know, of Hagrid. Like, he spot on. He was Hagrid. The movies didn't do him justice later on. And then we got that kind of cringy scene at the end of Chamber where Harry's like, "There's no Hogwarts without you, Hagrid." Right in the middle.
Well, he's right.
Right in the middle of the Great Hall in front of everyone.
Well,
It's cringy.
accurate.
Cringy.
Accurate.
Great casting. Yeah, absolutely. He was perfect. Wasn't he, Jackson?
On that note, though, we will do more of these. We'll do some of the best scenes of every character. But next week, we actually get to do a flip through of the new illustrated Silmarillion for our next live stream.
This is true. Guess I better order that, huh?
Oh, you haven't ordered it yet? Oh my god, yes. Comes out Tuesday. Or Wednesday? Tuesday or Wednesday.
Well, yeah, but if I pre-order, it'll get here on the day that it
Hopefully.
comes out.
Either way. Yeah.
Yes. Join us. Join us for that.
That will be next Thursday. Or can we stream Wednesday again for that?
Yeah, they clap for a whole 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was a little extended.
It was a little much, for sure. Oh, Jeopardy. Sounds fun. I like Jeopardy.
I haven't watched Jeopardy in a while.
I used to be pretty good at Jeopardy.
I was pretty good too, but then there's other things. I just don't understand why these people know everything.
Like certain categories that people know things about.
Yeah, there's certain categories. It's just like, oh yeah, that's simple. That's this. How do you know that?
Or why do you know that?
Yeah.
Like, why do you have this information in your brain? When it has nothing to do with, like, their profession or anything.
Like, I think they just sit down and they just read Wikipedia all day.
Well, I know that some people, like, study for it.
No, but it's like, what do you study? You need to know everything. You don't know what's going to be on the game show.
Yeah, so what do you research? What do you study? Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Barbecue steak. Because Dan got a campsite tonight.
Oh,
Heck
nice.
yeah. Good for you, dude. Very nice. Yeah, so we'll do the Silmarillion next week, and then maybe we'll decide what character we want to talk about next time.
All right. So, everyone, have a good night. Enjoy Jeopardy. Enjoy your steak.
Enjoy the
And
rest of your evening, everyone else.
We will see you